Well, I think we're all flawed, and that's the beauty of who you are. And instead of trying to make yourself perfect in every area, it's so much easier when you accept the things that you're terrible at, or that are your weaknesses, or that are the things about your wiring. Look, if I were diabetic, I would take insulin. I happen to be somebody that's wired for anxiety. No big deal. So figure out how to, instead of fighting those things, actually trick it. Because the truth is that you're never going to feel ready to make these changes. You're never going to feel like doing them, but you can always make a decision. It's always in your control. Staying with somebody that treats you like garbage is a decision. It is. Staying at a job that you hate is a decision. Staying in the body that you are not proud of is a decision. Is it going to be easy? No, it's not going to be easy to change. It's simple. Do a Google search and then use the 5-second rule to force yourself to do that stuff. Change comes down to 5-second decisions. This is why the 5-second rule is important for everybody to do. It's your job to push yourself. And I don't care if you're Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., or you're Michelangelo, or you're Lin-Manuel Miranda, who wrote Hamilton, you will struggle with self-doubt. And everybody that you admire, everybody, and the list is the same for everyone. Oh, Oprah Winfrey, and I want to be like, Tom, and I want to be like, Branson, and I want to be like Jay-Z, and I want to everybody's listening to Bill Gates. Do you know what those people do? They do not have the habit of they trust themselves.
Our whole life is shaped by decisions. That's what we've talked about today, right? But there's 3 decisions you're making every moment you're alive. And the way you make these 3 decisions shapes your destiny. First decision we're all making every moment is, what are you going to focus on? What are you going to focus on? And I realized that my father's life and my life had been very different because we made that day 3 decisions very differently. He decided to focus on the fact that he is not fit as family. And the second question you got to decide, every moment you're alive, including this moment, what are you going to focus on? Second question is, as you're focusing on, what does this mean? What does it mean? And the bottom line on meaning is, if you think about it, you have to make up the meaning, and most people pick the worst one, don't they? That day, my father started to focus on the fact he hadn't fed his family, and I know what meaning he gave because he said it out loud over and over again, that he was worthless because he had not taken care of his family. And then the final, most important decision you make every moment you're alive, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And I'll tell you what he decided to do. He decided to leave our family shortly thereafter, which at the time it was the worst experience of my life. It was the most crushing experience I felt. It's been so many years now, I don't have the same feelings. Part of it is 3 years ago he passed away. But at the time, I knew no greater pain. My family knew no greater pain. I couldn't understand why he would leave. I loved him so much. And my life turned out very different than him. I was the only one to go to his funeral. No one else in the family would go. Nobody wanted to be part of it. He died alone of a disease called connective tissue disorder. And I can tell you, right before his death, he got the lesson, because he looked at me and he said, son, he said, I was a bastard. I didn't connect with anybody, and look what I'm dying of. It's unbelievable.
I did one thing other than the 5-second rule that has changed my life, my marriage, everything. I do not have the phone in my bedroom. The phone is designed by people, like your phone, you should not have your phone in your bedroom. And here's why, because what's on your phone is not your dreams. What's on your phone is stuff that's been designed by people that study game theory. You know why you check your email all the time? All the time. You know why you're constantly looking at your phone? It's called random rewards. It's a psychological principle that explains why we pull slot machines. Because every 6 or 7 times we get a little random reward, so we keep going back. I know most emails blow, but every once in a while you get a good one. That's why you keep looking, right? So I created this course called The $1 Million Morning. Whether you want to make $1 million a year or in a morning, or whether you want to wake up and feel like $1 million. This is the science-backed strategy, step by step by step, for how to wake up. Because it's not when you wake up that matters, it's how you wake up that matters. And we filmed it at the house. I walk you through all the science. I show you the whole routine, and we're giving it to your audience for free. Because look, I want you to use these things. It's one thing to talk and think. It's another thing to actually take action. And the more that you can provide, that I can provide, that shows people what to do, and the more tools that we can give people to get out of their heads and into action, the more the world is going to improve, the more your life will improve. So
life is too short, and I feel like everyone needs to live, love, and laugh, and understand, like, you know, you're constantly evolving. Things are constantly changing. Things are constantly putting people in a position where they can get better and do better. We're doing a lot better. A lot better. You're going to have bumps in the road. You're going to have things that happen that make you have a hiccup and question, are we doing better? But that's life. That's the course of life. But, you know, I'm a positive person. I'm a realistic and positive person. So I see where we are. I'm happy with where we are. And I know where we can be 5 or 10 years from now. It can continue to get better and grow.
Everybody wants to know who to hire and what do I look for. And obviously I look for someone that's humble, and I look for someone that's balanced. And really, you know, it's one of those things where as much as you can before you hire someone, get to know them. And the advice we give people at Echelon Front all the time when they're looking to hire someone is we say, look, if you can, hire them temporarily, bring them on as a contractor for 90 days. You have to see them in the environment that they're actually going into, they're gonna be working in, before you know what they're really gonna be like. Because just like going through, they screen people like crazy to go into SEAL training, and they can't tell who's gonna make it and who's not gonna make it. They just can't tell. And you work with people in the SEAL teams, and you think you know what they're gonna be like when you go into combat, but you just can't tell. You can have a decent idea, but you just can't tell. And so if you get the opportunity, or the best way to do it is try and bring people on board in a temporary manner so you get to know them better, and then once you know them, you can either hire them or you can get rid of them easily.
the impact that I want to have is I want to teach people how to discover the power that's inside of them, to live fully in the open and share themselves, who they are, who they're not. Like, there's so much fear that we live with. I want to teach people how to live with more courage, because courage is nothing more than the ability to do things that are uncertain. In today's world, where you have the internet, you can literally learn, launch, do anything. Anything. The only thing that's truly stopping you are the limiting patterns that you think, the self-doubt, the fear, the habits that you have. And you can break them. You can break them 5 seconds at a time. And so the impact that I want to have is I want to teach people a simple way to discover the power that's locked inside them, and then to unleash it